So in this video, we will see what are the structures available in the organization of the organization structure, or whether the team lead in the organization or the manager or the working staff. Then how will the structure be? Then we will see that in this video. Okay. So whatever is the organizational structure, it is defined by the company, which is the complete details. So it defines the organizational structure. Okay, so there are multiple things in it in which you have different types of team members, team lead, then the complete details are included in it. Then there are some types of it. First comes the functional organization. After that comes the matrix organization and third projectized organization. Okay, so if we talk about matrix organization, then there are three more types within it: weak matrix, balanced matrix, and strong matrix. So if we want to see it in details, then the first is functional matrix. Functional matrix is used in most of the companies and it's a common matrix. In this, the CEO or other executive comes in the list who has higher authorities. After that comes your functional manager. That is the second, who is the team lead or is in the leadership role. Who is the project coordinator, who has full authorities. The staff is related to it or the team within them. Who do the reporting, they report to the functional members. After that, the functional members are those who do the reporting to your executive. So what we call this type of organization? So we call it functional organization. Okay, in this matrix organization, the team is composed of multiple people or multiple team leaders. The matrix design is done to help the company in communication between the teams and to help the company in providing more innovative ways and services. And if we look at the structure of this, if you apply, then for every new project, this structure is different in most of the cases, which we call matrix structure. Then matrix organization, which is a structure in which the reporting structure is that there is a team lead in one team. There are differences inside it. Team 1 is a team. If you are a team, then the team in it also has to do reporting, and the team lead also has to do reporting. For example, what you have here in this, you have your executive. Inside your executive, you have your functional manager, and inside the functional manager, you have your staff. Reporting will have to be done by the staff, and the reporting of the staff will be done to the functional manager, and the reporting of the functional manager will be done to the executive. So we call it weak matrix. If it comes inside the weak matrix, then in the weak matrix, the team lead has limited authorities are there, means understand that if this person is your project coordinator or team lead, then compared to a functional manager, he has less authorities and he has to report to the functional manager. The report writing of the functional manager goes only to the executive. Okay, so in this matrix, which is called weak matrix, it includes the balance matrix. Next is the balance matrix. So in the balance matrix, the team lead and leadership have authorities. It means that the team that is leading in it means that they also have authorities. That means both of them authorities. So what do we call it? Balanced matrix. And last comes the strong matrix. In the strong matrix, the team lead is the one who has more authorities. From the second, from the third, or between them, together with each other, meaning that the project manager is the manager of one project and the manager of the other project. Then what is signed for the second category? Then what is the reporting style between them? The premises are small but efficient in terms of resources, meaning whatever resources it has, we can make them efficient within this matrix system, and it contains free flowing information, but which is included in the conflicting items. Conflict can also be created on training. The project manager means it helps in training, and there is retention in the terms which are there, so you can also update it within it. Next, if we talk about its disadvantages, it has a slow response time. which can cause problems in working efficiently and the potential power struggle in it. It means that if you understand that someone does not have authority, then he struggles to control the project or for decision making, then these problems can come in it. Then this is your organization, or we call it matrix system. As compared to project manager or the project, then we call it a strong matrix. If we talk about the weak matrix, it has a less amount of decision making power as compared to strong and balanced matrix. You have less authority in the project, and due to which your project budget and timelines are in the hands of the department head. Well, for that, the team lead has nothing in his hands. It happens only after creating that communication plan. Then you have to work out, otherwise, there can be problems in it. After that, there is a balance matrix. In the balance matrix, both the team head and the project manager have the same authority. The authorities that your team leads or the functional manager have, or the authorities that the team lead has, the authorities that your project manager or the team head also has. So in this, both the members, when people report, they keep reporting to each other, like when multiple teams report together, then in your balance matrix on time, most of them are there. And in strong matrix, if you are an individual, you have multiple authorities, so you don't have any of them, and the last one that comes is the organization structure. But apart from that, if we look at the advantages and disadvantages of this matrix organization style, if we talk about its advantages, it has a clear project objectives to what we have to do, but it has a complex reporting style, meaning that one is dependent on the other. After that, next comes that is your project. If you are working on the project, then your authority changes according to the project. Then we call it projectile organization structure. So, what happens in the projectile organization structure is that for each of the different projects, there will be a project manager, within there will be staff, and their reporting will be to the project manager. The project manager's reporting will be to the engineer, same in your second project. In this way, your entire organization structure will keep changing on the basis of the project. If the organization structure is fine, then this projected organization structure has the following differences in it. In next video, we will see what is project life cycle and how is it implemented. So in this video, we will see what exactly is the project life cycle or what are the details included in it. First of all, we saw the 5 status in the previous video. Initial process, planning process, execution process, monitoring process, control process and closing process. First of all, you have to do its initial process, that is its initiative process. You have to start it. After starting it, you have to plan it. After planning comes its execution. And when the execution is going on, at this time you also have to do the process of monitoring and controlling. And after that comes your closing process. When you start this process, you will come to know about your general costs, your staffing cost, and whatever else you will need to know when you start a project. So the cost involved or the staffing level within it reduces, but as your project grows, like if over this time period, if you see that my project has been initiated from here, then in the beginning you will also need less staff. It will take less time in the initiation process. You will also take less time in planning, but when you go to execution, your peak point will start suddenly. In it, you will also have the staff, and the cost involved for it will also be the same. Your work will also be at a higher point, which means that you will definitely need more cost and more staff in this, in which the execution is under monitoring control, and after that, the final comes at the time of completion of your work, which is at the time of your closing. The costing of your project and the staff you have engaged are also reduced in this, and here, whatever your project is, it becomes more. So, when we start, you will get the project charts inside it. After that, you have to create a project management plan. After that, if your delivery means that the final project is ready, it is almost ready, Then your closing process starts. So if we talk about initiation and planning and closing as compared to the execution and monetary level, the staff or cost level will be less. But when we are taking about the money, it will be given to you on time. But when we carry out the work, we'll have most of the staff and cost will also be more for you. You will also have to keep the budget high. Okay, if we look at it stage wise, how much details will be required for it, then you will understand that if I start the initiation of any project, it means that if we have to start, then it will take a little more time for initiation, then the whole process will be done in the middle. Okay, when your planning process starts along with this, when you do this initiation, then your planning starts, but it gets deeper and suddenly it goes to the peak. Okay, and after that, completing your planning and initiation, you start your work execution little by little, and then when your planning is complete, you start the execution. And the execution process is on a peak basis when your planning is done, which means that you will need more staffing and you will need more on cost, and simultaneously your monitoring and control from the start of the project till the end will be continuous. There is definitely no need for much staffing, but it will definitely need you, and as your execution is on peak, and when you start finishing it, then the closing of project gets start from there. It gets added to the closing process group, and suddenly when your project gets completed, then your monitoring also reduces and your execution also ends after that. Finally, only documentation or only closing is the remaining. So at that time, you do not have to do anything about the execution process, in that only your closing process will continue. So in this way, your project life cycle is. So here in the execution process group, you definitely need the most resources, and in this you also get the most requirements. Next, if we talk about it, then the relationship that you have in it, like right now someone is performing the task, then the relationship that you have in the organization process within two works. There are two types in it. One is sequential and the second is overlapping. So what is the difference between the two? If we talk about sequential, then what happens in it is that from where your next page is starting, the previous one is the first phase. If it is finished, then we call it sequence, which means that if I am taking up a project, it started from here, here and again, the next one will start after this, the next one will start after this. Next, when it starts, we call it sequential, meaning this is P1, this is P2, this is P3, this is P4. So in physics, your work will continue in this manner. But if we talk about overlapping, then understand what happens in overlapping. This project of mine is already ongoing, and at this time, my next project has also started parallel to it, and the next activity or next page has also started. So, what do we call it? Overlapping, or it can also start in the middle. So, we call it overlapping phase. So, this is face to face relationship. When we add activity, then you definitely need it. So, there are many more types of it. You have to study in MSP also, and after knowing further, we will read what all happens in it. In which finish to start, then such different types are also included in it. Okay, after this, next comes which is organization process asset, which we also call OPA. It includes the rules and regulations inside the company or what you have to do in it, what not to do for you, which guidelines are provided, then all the things that happen, then this is a category within this organization process which we call OPA, which is organization process asset, and the second comes in this which we call enterprise environment factor within the company norms. Before we talk about it, if you ever have any problem in your project, then you can solve it with its help, or if any conflict arises within it, then with the help of OPA you can solve it. Like we call organization process asset, with its help you can solve problems by taking guidelines, and after that the next thing that comes is enterprise environment factors. Like we say EVE, it represents the culture of the office, the working times of the office or the organization, like the dress code of their employees. So all those things which it happens that it has come inside EVE, which we call enterprise environment factor, its styles or whatever it is, its working time or its color, then all that thing comes inside EVE. This was the organizational introduction till we saw. After this, we will see what we saw in 5 pages. Then, in this, what is initiation project? How can we make the project chart? And how are the stakeholders identified in it? We will see that in the next video.